If you end up trying to sound like someone else, you don't get very far. When we first started producing, we kind of sounded a little bit like Iglesias. Then we adapted and we changed our sound, and that's when obviously we started getting more bookings.
Like you get in there and you're like, oh, bloody hell, this is great. Like I tell people that I'm in CA, and you shouldn't hide stuff like this, because if it can help anyone else in this industry who's struggling with not being able to get out of the same cycle, then that's joy for me, to be honest. Jamie Jones says to him during a back-to-back, oh, send me this track. So Jamie asked for it, and then Jamie was bashing it. So we think it could have got signed to Hot Creations.
So, RSquared, good to have you on, guys.
Thank you for having us, mate. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, we've been talking about this for a long time.
We have. When did we start talking about it?
I think it was like maybe 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years ago, Rory would just message me like, we need to do this. And I was like, yeah, up for it. It's one of those things where it just gets put off.
Yeah, 100%.
Put off.
Yeah.
Put off. We wanted to tie it in with a gig in London as well, but we didn't have one this weekend. And obviously, I'm from Portsmouth, so it's a bit of a drive.
You came up from Portsmouth?
Yeah, today, mate.
Dedication.
So
I came up from Bristol.
Yeah, it better be good then.
That's cool. Well, Portsmouth, and then where are you from?
Essex.
Essex.
So not too fast, like 50 minutes.
So how did you guys come together then? Like, where's the beginnings?
Right, so it was at Bournemouth University. Basically, I knew Ryan, and we were in the same halls. And then we both, basically, Salado, James Barlow, came back to our house for an after party.
Mm-hmm.
Did you invite him?
Yes, definitely. I met him in a corner shop in Manchester, and then saw him at the rave and was like, come back to our house, like, it'd be sick. And then you know what it's like, partied for ages. And then I was like, I'm going to buy a pair of decks. So I bought two 900 CDJs and an 850 mixer. And then Ryan kept coming around to mix and stuff like that. And then I got a gig in Maidstone on my own. We were actually like solo artists. And then that gig got cancelled, and Ryan was on. Were you on Foreverland?
Yeah, I was warm up, and it was quite a good gig for barely ever DJing before. Pretty out of my depth at the time, so I was like, Rory, who had the decks, come B2B.
Yes,
bit of support as well.
So we did that, and then RSquared was born.
Wait, it was when we first DJed. It was Ryan and Rory, or Rory and Ryan.
Yeah, it was Rory.
Was the name like? Where did the squared bit come from then?
Well, we just were good at maths.
Oh, really?
No, we were like, put two and two together, RSquared. We were throwing loads of ideas to our mates, and it was just the one that stuck.
Yeah.
They're the best ones.
There was a few bad ones though. There was like, we were trying to write like Italian names, like Spanish names. I think, what was it? Is it Latin? We had a Latin name.
Yeah,
and
we
were like,
we had
nah.
some like R-rated, which is in like, you know, like in America, which is like 18
Like
plus.
Rockstar.
And I was like, nah, we're not doing that. And there was loads of different names flying about.
But RSquared just stuck, and I feel like it was a good name to go with. So yeah, and then just carried on the career, producing. We lived in fourth year together.
Yeah.
So in the house, Ryan actually studied way more than me, because he got a first, I got a 2-2. Because I studied accountancy, Ryan was business. So.
You put all the eggs in one basket straight away, didn't you?
Yeah, I failed. I flunked all my last year exams to make music.
I was kind of a bit more
I was
cautious.
the same.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
If you've got to go for it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I was making music at uni as well.
Were you?
Yeah,
What kind of music?
I was under South Royston with John Neenan, who was half of
Oh,
Neenan.
nice.
Oh, right,
Yeah.
Sick.
We were at the same time, like Joe Bradley Latman was doing it. We were like sort of.
Were you making
really?
house?
Yeah, mate.
Nice, sick.
Yeah, we did.
You'll have to show us
We
some
did a
stuff.
release on Viva and HK from Ministry of Sound.
Did you?
Really?
Yeah, mate, we were going for it.
Viva Warriors back in the day.
Boys, I was like to John, like we got to do it. You know, it's like
Yeah,
we're like,
yeah,
we've got to do it,
100%.
And then work and
You put everything into it, and what you've done with Trackstack is incredible, mate.
Yeah, thank you.
Because we did a kick and bass tutorial the other day, and they use Trackstack for their tutorials.
Yeah, it's our new product studio.
Yeah.
So we're thinking of doing a Patreon and Discord.
You should.
So if anyone is interested in getting into that, then it's coming soon.
Not even out. Just
We'd definitely be up for doing it on Trackstack.
Yeah,
'cause that's where you put the videos.
I mean, like your music is like extremely technical and well done.
Yeah.
Like I was in the studio with Codework, and he was like walking me through the process of you're getting a loop going and things like that. And he's like, look, there's loops that you can't sample. And he's like, it's R-squared loops. You can't sample them. It's like, why? And it's like, well, because they put sounds in there that are distinctively like yours.
Yeah.
Is that like?
Well, that's
is that a
what
thing? Is that
I think. Yeah, I think that's where we
That's a
kind.
great secret.
That is, we kind of went wrong there and gave the keys to the kingdom. Like everyone uses that sample pack now. It's because it was our first ever sample pack and we just were like, we didn't really know how to do it. But now we kind of
amazing sample.
Oh, it's a really good sample pack.
But if you end up trying to sound like someone else, you don't get very far. You've got to create your own sound, and then you actually progress a lot faster. That's what we kind of found. Like at the start when we first started producing, we kind of sounded a little bit like Iglesias.
Yeah.
And then people were telling us that. So then we adapted and we changed our sound, and that's when obviously we started getting more bookings and stuff, when we started kind of creating our own sound and what we liked with kind of 80s inspiration.
Yeah, the 80s.
And tech house put together.
The disco thing.
Disco, yeah.
So distinct.
We love disco. Like we play disco in our sets, and like I love 80s music. Like I think it's the best. Like the big snares. Oh, I love a big snare. So we just thought, let's try and sample this, and no one else was doing it. So and then it really worked out for us. So we couldn't like think it could have gone any better, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, so especially with Brown Eyes. And
going back to that back-to-back set, you know, after that, you were just mixing at this point.
Yeah,
just mixing.
Just mixing.
This was this first year or second year?
Second year we got our first gig.
Yeah, no.
I remember playing.
First year was when it was just Ryan and Rory.
Yeah. Artwork, Let Go of This Acid at Foreverland. What a tune. Sick tune.
Some of our sound has changed.
We used to play a lot of different tech house, and then it kind of went into kind of the rollers, the percussive grooves, do you know what I mean? The high energy stuff.
Trying to find what you like, isn't it?
Exactly.
But takes a bit of time.
Yeah, but we still throw like disco stuff in our sets and stuff like that. That's how we kind of like, we like to play across the board. We're not stuck to one genre. Like, might even chuck Joy Orbison Flight FM in a track. Definitely not.
Not as far-fetched as like Jack Master when he used to play Beyonce and stuff.
Yeah.
We're not that far-fetched, but we do like going in between kind of housey disco and kind of the darker tech house kind of styles. Like
That's
hot
the spectrum.
Synths.
100%.
That's kind of the
Is there like a process for your sets then, or do you just go with the vibe when you're in there?
Well, we'll have a playlist of all like tracks that we like, new ones, but like I've got a 1,000 gigabyte memory stick that I just stick my whole record box.
And we always say when it's a duo, it's hard. You've got to go off the other person, what they play. Then you've got to play something that kind of works into that. So you can never plan it fully unless we sat and done it together. But we're always like living 2 hours apart, so we never do that. We just kind of see each other's playlists and then kind of we work off it on.
Yeah, Ryan will pop out with just some insane banger, and I'll be like, "Oh, I need to fix up here." It's so good. You've been playing some bangers recently.
Yeah, just
digging,
track hunting and
Yeah,
stuff like
great
that.
digging.
100%.
When you're looking for samples and stuff, you end up finding tech house tracks, and it's just sometimes you stumble across tracks. But yeah, it's all about just constantly looking, constantly listening to different music, and then you eventually find loads of different tracks for yourself.
That's it, 100%. And we've got a lot of friends that make great music as well, like Riaz, Iglesias, Latman, do you know what I mean? So they're all making sick music, so they send us unreleased stuff, so it's kind of a benefit, really.
Yeah, Iglesias is incredible.
Yeah, Iglesias is done, mate. Because we know Joe from uni, so we got studio lessons with Joe at the start.
Yeah. Do you think that was very helpful?
Oh,
Yeah.
beyond helpful.
You've got to do it unless you're really, really fast at picking stuff up, because you skip like maybe 2 years of trying to figure out the whole of Logic and just finding out the basic stuff. You skip kind of that first 2 years, and it did definitely help us progress a bit faster.
100%. Like, yeah, we got him cheap as well, which was great. How many? We did like three or four with him, and then that's where we kind of went back, and then we were like, oh, we do sound like everyone was telling us we sound like Iglesias. But it's always good to get a lesson with an artist. We do studio days, by the way. It's good to do lessons with an artist, because then you learn what they do and their processes. You go back, you might sound like them for a bit, and then you kind of tailor off into what you want to do and what you like. But it's good to know the fundamentals and like learning a DAW, mixing down different synths, stuff like that, and then you kind of like get to grips with it. So it was so beneficial, to be honest. Yeah.
When did you first pick up the DAW? You know, you were DJing, and then you must have got into that.
So yeah, it was fourth year at uni.
Yeah, well, we started off in Ableton.
Oh yeah, we went to D for Purpose for our first lesson, actually.
Yeah.
He's like a tech house. He's more like plays in America now. He's English.
I know. Yeah.
But we went to Deep Purpose for our first ever
lesson.
Yeah.
Was on Ableton, and then
Got to end up speaking to Joe, didn't we?
and he was like, "No, I hate Ableton."
Ableton shit, all this, and we were like, oh, being like a noob, didn't really know much. We had a lesson with him on Logic, and we stayed on Logic ever since.
Yeah.
How do you like? You know, is there a door war, so to speak? Or
I mean,
like Xbox versus
yeah, it's kind of like that. Like I try and convince all my students to go on Logic because I just find the interface is so much cleaner. Like when you're mixing
More
down.
people use Ableton, but what I find is when you go into the like really professional world, like the high-end professional people, they're all using Logic.
No, they're using FL and stuff.
Oh yeah, but a lot of it.
Really?
If you're going,
No, is it FL?
Yeah.
or There's a new one, Bitwig.
Is there?
Have you seen Bitwig?
Yeah.
No.
That's made by some of the guys from Ableton and somewhere else.
Obviously, I won't be touching that then.
I used Reason. Did you ever?
What's that? No, I never heard of Reason. Have you heard of Soundforge?
No.
It's what Burial used to use. You know Burial?
Yeah.
It doesn't have any grids. So that's why his music is so offbeat the whole time. So he like, you know, you've got the bars, 4x4, stuff like that. It has none of that. So he's like dotting stuff around, and that's why it's so swung the whole time. It's amazing. It's amazing. I watched this whole documentary on Burial. I love what he did. He's incredible.
Amazing.
And no one knows who he is.
So you think Logic then for you guys?
Yeah, Logic.
Definitely.
Logic, definitely.
So you found Logic, you did some lessons with Iglesias.
Yeah.
You off to the races, or
No.
what was the biggest challenge?
No, so we
stepping into
we
that?
first started releasing music, and then it had gone like a year of like releasing pretty consistently, and we weren't getting any gigs and stuff. And we're like, oh, what's going wrong here? What's going wrong? Are we ever going to get gigs and stuff? It's not a fast process at all. It wasn't for us. And then we just carried on being consistent, and then eventually, like after like 2 to 3 years of consistently releasing, that's when we started getting more regular gigs, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So it takes
100%.
it does take a while for anyone that's at the start. You can't expect to release.
Well, unless you release a Beatport number one.
Yeah.
So.
But that wasn't our career path.
No, it wasn't. We've kind of gone through the long slug, which
Yeah.
is good because you get a lot of what's the word when you feel good about something,
like
self-achievement
Yeah.
or something like that, because you've gone through such a long journey, and it's not over yet. It's not. It's like hardly
only
even
just
begun.
started,
Yeah, it's hardly even begun.
What was
so.
the moment in your career so far where you're like, this is what I did it for?
Just playing at high. It's got to be.
yeah.
Playing at high was incredible, man. Like it's just such a cool room, the club room. Like you get in there and you're like, oh, bloody hell, this is great. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Bloody
and then,
hell.
yeah,
mate.
bloody hell,
Bloody hell.
like the sound system, the vibe, like everything was just, it's just all you want. Like you make, like I love making music, but I also like I love DJing more.
Yeah.
Like so, like putting all that hours and all of the graft in, and then you get to play on a stage with Paco Osuna. Like it's just like goals really. So. And then also even playing little gigs, like you still get such a buzz, and it's like, I'm doing this for a reason. Like every moment behind the decks is a special moment because you're doing something you love. And like they say, if you do something you love, you never work a day in your life. Do you know what I mean? So it's
Does
so
it feel like that?
It does feel like that. Like I love teaching people. I get such an enjoyment out of people getting a buzz about their new tune and stuff like that. Like it's
It does
just
give you energy.
it does 100%.
You're making music and you get something going.
There's
when you
nothing
finish
better.
a session, you're like,
Yeah, exactly. Or you finish a track in a day and then you're like, wow, I don't have to touch that tomorrow.
Well, especially when you produce on like a Saturday or Sunday, and you just got to think if that was your normal job, that no one wants to be working on a Saturday and Sunday, and we get in on a Saturday and Sunday and produce if we haven't got any gigs at the weekend, and we're fine with it. We don't think of it as work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
craft.
that's when you think, I'm actually working, but I'm actually like really enjoying this.
100%.
So I done the slog in London, and I knew that weren't.
Yeah, I used to sell furniture
so
packages.
So you went through that process.
Yeah, I used to sell furniture packages in London. While I was making music after finishing uni, I was working at Hermes. Well, it's now Every now.
That's so,
Chucking parcels over people's houses.
people come to London after uni. Like
Yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
been through this sort of rite of passage. Whether it's if you're up north, maybe it's more like Manchester.
That's it.
You finish uni and then you have this sort of rite of passage in London where you're like forced into this like adult world.
No, I know.
Okay.
And you're like, oh God, I need to make it.
Yeah, it's sort of. Did that
That's
fuel
it.
you?
It's stressful. It's still stressful now, isn't it? At points.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you think we want more for ourselves. Do you know what I mean?
Ryan gets the brunt of me like every I don't know, like every week. I'm like, we're not doing enough. We're not doing enough. We need to do more. We need to do more.
I heard about this. How do you guys, what's your working relationship like? How's that evolved since,
It's got better now. Like I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit of a nightmare. So
since you've gone sober, you weren't very reasonable in the facts of when you would just basically shout stuff, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I was.
And now obviously you're off the drink and stuff. It's a lot more friendly in the business.
Yeah,
business
exactly.
relationship kind
exactly.
Of
yeah, I've learned to kind of talk to people basically.
Communicate.
Communicate.
Instead of just going, this is what I want.
When you're in this scene and you're just drinking and like doing drugs the whole time, your mind and your state of everyday life is so altered that you will just like react and your emotions will be so much more higher and stuff like that. I'm making better music now. I can get up on a Sunday, make music. So it's probably the best thing I'll ever do in my life, to be honest.
And before, when you used to go out, we used to have a gig or something, you wouldn't really reply or do anything until Wednesday, would you?
Exactly, yeah. And then just have to just power through it the whole time. Like feeling awful on a Monday, feeling awful on a Tuesday, getting better on a Wednesday, feeling good on a Thursday, going out Friday, chasing the high, Saturday, chasing the high, feeling shit on a Sunday, and then repeating the cycle for years and years and years. And now we've made more music in the last 2-3 months that we've made in a very long time.
Yeah, well,
this is a really important topic, like
Yeah.
sober,
100%.
DJing, sober music, because it's so tied to that.
Yeah.
And I'm speaking to more and more DJs now that are like sober.
Yeah, Codework sober.
Yeah, completely sober, and fair play to him.
Yep.
Jamie Jones is sober.
Yep.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys at the top, they can't operate
100%.
sober,
100%.
I think it's well done.
Thank you very much. 55 days today.
That's seriously.
Yeah, it's
really
good.
Yeah.
I mean, I came back from ADE, like I had a bad time at ADE, and like I just threw myself into sobriety. Like I go to meetings to actually help me out and stuff like that, like CA meetings about like Cocaine Anonymous, stuff like that. I don't mind sharing it because it's like if I can help anyone else get better, and if anyone else had any questions who's watching this or listening to this, like just message us, I can help you out. It's just a better way of life, and like you can go through such a destructive cycle in your life through drink and drugs, and yeah, it's just been the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you're going to continue it.
Continue it. I've got my sobriety date tattooed on my chest.
So you can't break it now.
So I cannot break it now. I cannot break it now. So yeah, I have to get a cover up
really
job.
cool, man.
Thank you, mate. Thank you, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
But obviously it's hard, like because I go to sober raves now. It's like incredible. Like I wake up the next day, apart from your ears ringing, that's the only thing that's a problem. Do you know what I mean? You can get on and crack on your day, go to the gym, go for a run, do some music, stuff like that. You used to wake up with a hangover, and then like I was saying, like 2-3 days is written off. And then I played my first sober gig in Malaga at Studio Club for Cocoa with Hot Since 82.
You were more nervous than usual for it, weren't you? But when you came off, I absolutely loved that more than I thought.
Yeah.
Really? Were you there as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was better to play sober. I remember every like song that I played. And it's like a natural high. Like I can't describe it. I was so like in the moment, and like the crowd were loving it, like giving high fives everywhere. Do you know what I mean? So it was like I just want to play more sober gigs now. Like
you said, you felt like you drank.
Yeah, it was that much of a high. It was incredible.
Really cool.
It was incredible, man.
And it's important to share this.
100%. That's the thing, is that our industry is full of drinking and drugs.
Well, the whole thing, well, not like it's built on that, but
No, I know, but like everyone
people
who's
get excited about
partying. I think most of the thing is people get that excitement before going out, and then they'll drink, and then they'll go to after party. I mean, I was an absolute sesh head. like crazy amounts. I could go for days.
That was the difference between me and you. I would drink and then I could call it a night.
And you go to bed.
Yeah, but if you drank, you would still be up on Sunday and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Not slept, even if we went out on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would just live for the weekend, and like even like saying stuff to people in the industry. I've said, God knows what I've said to people in the industry, and I can't remember. Do you know what I mean?
So, I mean things that you maybe wouldn't have said.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly.
Maybe that's what you kind of struggle with now a little bit, and you're getting over that, the things that you have said. But I said, mate, you weren't right. You're quite ill. Everyone forgives and forgets, don't they? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I think when you make progress, you can't fault.
100%, 100%.
Everyone will be like, yeah, open to that. Well, you've done well, kind of thing.
Yeah. And I want to inspire other. Like I tell people that I'm in CA and stuff like that, because you shouldn't hide stuff like this. Like, because if it can help anyone else in this industry who's struggling with not being able to get out of the same cycle, then that's joy for me, to be honest. Do you know what I mean?
Never thought, all of your friends, all of us never thought you were going to get out of the cycle.
No, and now everyone's like, oh my God, you can actually have a conversation with Rory apart when he's not scatty. Scatty the whole time, and afterwards, like, ah. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, it's brilliant, man.
Yeah, well done, man.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I think you'd have a really different year.
100%.
I reckon we will. I reckon we'll. Next year is going to be a big year because you'll be sober all year, and I think next summer will be a massive summer.
Yeah, I think the big test for me in sobriety would be Ibiza. Going to Ibiza sober. But I still have people who know that I'm sober, like, oh, you're not going to do, like, you're not going to take a pill, you're not going to get on it, like, you're not going to have one drink. Someone asked me if I'm going to have a drink. He's just got engaged. Someone asked me if I was going to drink at his wedding. I was like, no, like, I can't. Like,
it
I
is
can't
one
break
drink,
that.
actually. I was sober, and then my mate said, oh, just half a pint.
That's it.
I had literally half a pint done.
And then it's gone?
The whole night was gone, yeah.
How long did you do?
3 months.
Nice. Congrats. That's good.
But it was half a pint that got me. So I think
exactly
just a little bit.
That's the thing people don't understand, is that, like, I was an addict. Like, I don't mind saying that. I was a full-on addict. If I touched something, a beer would lead to 7 a.m, 9 a.m, like, roll over. Do you know what I mean? So I could never say no. So even that one drink would put me back in that same scenario, and I never want to go back to that, because the way I feel at the moment is just incredible. I'm building my friendships up again. I'm building a good relationships, like,
even on time for the podcast.
Even 1 minute early. 1 minute early, and Ryan was 27 minutes late.
How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I feel great for him, to be honest, because I saw what kind of destruction it was causing to him and everyone around him. I never quite fully understood it, because I'm quite sensible in the fact that I could always manage it myself. So because I could manage it, I always, in the back of my mind, thought, wow, come on, you can kind of sort yourself out, kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, because if I don't want to do it, no one can convince me to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then obviously I understood that it kind of was an addiction, and he really couldn't say no. And yeah, he's done obviously amazing so far.
Thank you very much, mate. It's good for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't ever think it was going to happen, but obviously it has, and it's great.
Yeah, it's
really
cool.
good.
Thank you, bro. Sick.
What do you think? The thing about being a DJ most people don't appreciate or understand.
When you're in the studio for hours on end, people don't see the glamorous side of you choosing the right snare or choosing the right clap or changing out a kick, or Rory sending me a track and like, nah, we need to change the bass line. The other day he spent 5 hours.
Oh
hours
my God.
For a track.
I was pulling my hair out. My mum was in the living room. She was like, why'd you keep coming out and in so much to your studio? I was like, I'm going mental. I need this bass line to work. Finally got a good bass line in, and then like I was just happy again. That's the thing, is studio can really affect your mood.
Yeah.
Like if it's going bad, then it's like I try not to let things get to me anymore.
Everyone wants to be a DJ, right? Everyone wants to be a DJ, but they don't see that kind of side of it. The Monday to Friday in the studio.
Yeah, the actual grind.
Yeah,
aspect.
the actual grind that gets you, because the music, other than a certain few people, the music is what gets you to DJ on the weekends for most people.
That's it.
Making the music in the week.
100%, 100%. And like, it's obviously like, people think it's a glamorous life, but like I was talking about with sobriety, like, people might have seen me from the outside and be like, oh, Rory's such a happy lad. Inside I've got demons. Like, I'm like, I can only go out if I can have a drink. I can only play if I have a drink, and I'm leading myself down that same cycle. So they might have thought, oh, it's such a cool profession, you being a DJ and stuff like that, but they don't realise the mental health struggles that you actually go through. Is my social media on point? Am I making enough tracks?
Yeah.
Like, was our set good? Like, is that person following you?
What have I said?
What have I said? What have I said to people? Like, I'm even struggling from anxiety now from what I've said to people in the past. But like I said, you can get over stuff like that. But it's like, it's a daily struggle of trying to keep up with. Comparison is the thief of joy at the end of the day. So I wouldn't say keep up with other people, but keeping on top of your work.
Yeah.
Like getting the gigs when you're not getting the gigs. Stressing.
Why are we not getting Why are we not getting as many gigs as we usually do and stuff like that? Is because obviously you earn money from it, right? And it's an income. So if you're not getting the gigs, you're not earning any money, and then you're kind of stressing from that aspect as well. So
how do you guys supplement that? Like obviously,
we do. We're lucky enough that we do the whole production and mixing process, so we earn money.
Services.
Well, yeah, so we earn money
good.
from that. Whereas
is that what keeps
I do three production studio days a week, so that keeps me like money wise good. And then obviously we want to start the Discord and stuff like that. But obviously we'd like more gigs, but you can't rush these things, man. Like it comes, it's a natural progression. And yeah, just
got to always want more for yourself. If you're settled, you won't progress. It's good to want more for yourself constantly, I think.
100%, because then you want to strive to be better every day. Yeah, man.
Socials as a DJ, you brought that up.
Yeah.
That does seem quite the dance these days.
Yeah.
Socials.
It didn't used to be like that as much.
No.
We were...
No, it wasn't even apparent. Like, well, you're talking about in the 90s. Do you know what I mean? Like mixing vinyl. That was being a DJ. Was being a DJ. Now you got to be DJ, producer, social media, do the podcast. Do you know what I mean? Like you got to do everything. So
if we could like we said before, if we could just sit in the studio and just produce music, get that signed to labels and DJ on the weekends, that would be amazing for us.
Yeah, I push us quite hard to get the content out though. Like I know that it's really important.
If you didn't have to.
No, if I didn't have to.
Obviously, we'd prefer just to do the stuff that we're good at. We don't want to be doing the social media. Do you know what I mean? But you kind of have to in this day and age.
Yeah.
To then
100%.
Weekend.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's a cycle.
It's all like it's a very like. It's very detrimental on people's mental health as well. Social media, like the likes, stuff like that. The amount of comments you get on posts. Like if you haven't got enough likes or comments, does that mean your content's bad? No, it doesn't. Get the content out. Like that's what I've started to realise now. Is that I used to be like to Ryan, like, oh, look, this post has only got 5 comments. This is a crap post. Let's delete it. Now I'm just like, just get the content out. The more you post, the algorithm picks it up. And we've started to do reels more now. And it's actually like, I didn't even talk about the ads. We do loads of ads.
Yeah.
You've got to pay for ads.
But we do like between £1 and £2 a day, just constantly on ads.
Just promoting
one of our mates.
His profile.
One of our mates is kind of good in like the back end Facebook ads and posting, doing it through there on Instagram and stuff. Got kind of a degree in it and stuff, so he helps us with that.
That's good.
We help him with like kind of production and mixing, and he gives us the ads.
Exchange.
Yeah,
like
when you don't have to pay for something, it's great.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, we'll add a few bits to his tracks, and then he'll help with his ads. But it's like that's the thing. Like even doing the ads, like it's just extra money, like just to get yourself out there, because Instagram just caps your reach.
It used to be great, didn't it?
It used to be SoundCloud, clip, Facebook.
That's it.
Those days?
Yeah,
100%. Everyone will see it.
No one uses Facebook now.
No one.
Apart from my mum. Or to say happy birthday, and you get like 3 happy birthday wishes this year. You used to get like hundreds.
You used to get a lot,
yeah. You used to get hundreds. Now it's like 3. It's like your mum, your aunt, and your dad.
Or your mum's friend.
Yeah.
But it's happy birthday.
Oh, that's God. You're not wrong there, actually.
It's true. No.
So what makes a great DJ stand out then, nowadays? Because it used to be, pure selection, pure music.
Well, it used to be Carl Cox got famous through being able to DJ on 3 vinyls, didn't he? That's how he kind of got big and well known. Now I think it's a lot of things. You've got to produce great music. You've got to kind of market yourself well. You kind of probably have to have your own event. Like Bibby done it amazingly, right?
Yeah. We booked,
but it
Michael
was a
Bibby.
long slug as well.
For him,
I think
people think it was over.
We booked Michael Bibby in Bournemouth.
About how long those guys were doing that.
That's it.
No one came.
Yeah.
There was a
Before
solid.
it became Paradise and Music On and all that stuff. Like
100%.
the first Paradise gig was in East London in a pub. No one came. Like he just did it
mental.
in a pub.
That's crazy.
You know, I don't think that's like everyone just thinks, oh, I would never start my own party because it can never be as big as that.
That's it.
It's like, but you should anyway.
We used to run parties and in Bournemouth for years at the old fire station. I don't know.
I remember that.
Yeah, so
Great place.
we used to, and we booked Michael Bibby for a party.
What was that like?
That was blood.
It was before Hanging Tree came out, so we got him for ridiculously cheap.
So before like it kicked
So
off.
then Hanging Tree came out like a couple
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
after he was kind of promoting it and stuff. Sold
Oh
it
yeah,
out,
that went
didn't he?
off. That went
And
off. Then he come back to the afters.
yeah.
We had a great time.
Yeah. And then like 6 months later, his fee was just probably like 100 times more than what we booked him for.
Yeah, it was
It's
meant.
crazy that one track. And
Yeah.
Oh, it's crazy, man.
That's
It's
what
crazy.
you strive for, isn't it? That one track that changes it. We're still striving.
Yeah.
now.
Is that like, do you go in with that attitude in the studio? Like,
Oh, you don't.
What, the one track? I mean, the way I look at it is that you could do these tracks that have the commercial vocals and stuff like that, and it might blow up. But I like to stick to the underground, and I'm not using vocals, which like everyone knows, to be honest. Like we could, but I just choose not to. Like,
Agreed.
I love vocals where you just don't know them. Do you know what I mean? I actually like tracks. We use a lot of vocals now because like you have to appeal to different markets and stuff like that. But I love tunes where there's just one vocal hit and it's dark and dirty, and then it's just delaying the whole track. Something like that is just great for me. But we have to use quite a few vocals now, don't we?
Well, we just use loads of different stuff. Loads of people are using R&B vocals at the moment, aren't they? That's quite.
yeah, that seems to be
the in thing. At
That's
the moment.
it. Yeah, 100%. You like a good R&B vocal, don't you?
Paco Osuna loves a good rap vocal, doesn't he? So
Yeah, 100%.
it's kind of trying to.
Who's
appeal.
inspiring you at the moment then, when it comes to being in the studio?
Music wise, probably Mindshake, that sort of sound. But we love our 80s, so we have kind of gone away from the 80s for a little bit. I forgot where we were going. What was the question?
Influences.
Oh, influences on our sound.
Yeah.
So I
'Cause
used.
you said, oh, we're trying to make music for influential people. That's quite an interesting line. So
What do you mean?
You're trying to make music for
No,
particular-
no,
Yeah.
100%. We never make music for anyone else. But like my influences growing up were like Joy Orbison, Robert Hood, Ben UFO, the Hessel Audio stuff. Like I love that kind of music. So that's where like our kind of music has a lot of synth bass, like, and that in that music there's kind of different sounds going on. So I like. Quite a lot of people don't like synths, but I love them. I love the melodic element and stuff like that. That's where we switch our sound up. So we either go 80s or we'll go the melodic kind of like leads,
They're kind
stuff
of
like that.
different. They're kind of the two different because, again, some people will prefer more the dark synthy stuff, and then some people will prefer the more light 80s stuff. So they're the kind of two aspects we.
Yeah, we never.
produce.
One day, like I sat down. I think it was it was just a YouTube tutorial with a synth, and then ever since then, I've just loved synths, and I just researched them all the time and stuff like that. Different synths. Paid this guy 400 quid for all the plugins that you can get. So I've got so many synths. I'm still looking through them now.
Really?
Yeah, it's so good, mate. He's the best guy ever. Like he's done Riaz's, he's done Solardo's, he's
I've
done
heard
Max
about this
Chapman's.
guy,
Mate,
the fixer.
he is James the Plug, mate. He's James the Plug. He's so good. So yeah, even when it comes to mixing, you've got every plugin now. Do you know what I mean? And then we'll text him and he'll send us like, I asked for Neutron 5 Gate the other day because Iglesias told me about it. So yeah, he'll send over whatever. But yeah, coming back to synths is that like it just really gives you that sound. If you know your synth inside out, then when you put your synths in, people will notice you immediately. I mean, our music's most recognisable from the big snare. Everyone knows it from the big
Yeah,
snare.
I would agree.
That's what people say. They're like, give us your snares. Where's my snare?
Percussion.
Yeah, percussion and snares, like the big snappy 80s snare. That's kind of where we go with our music, because with our bass lines, we don't write bass lines. Like we chop up loops.
For your bass line?
Yeah, we
So
chop
it could
up
be
loops
like
for bass
3 or
lines.
4 different loops. So like hits from different sample pack bass lines. As long as they're all in A minor, you can chop them up and arrange them in an order.
Yeah, I mean we've wrote bass lines before. It's just I always find like having 4 different types of bass lines in your bass line and making them merge as one gives it that sort of character.
That could be
different
like
character.
4 different synths, couldn't it?
Could have a soul wave, a sine wave, like a square wave, all merged into one.
All
And then
merged into one.
If you get the mix right, it's perfect.
Makes it bouncier, I feel, as well, with the velocity and all that.
100%.
That's super interesting.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's loads of people will just go, oh yeah, made this bass line in a sine wave or what, a really subby bass line. But ours, yeah, like you say, might be in like,
It's got a lot going on.
yeah, you don't obviously know if you, yeah, but just loads of different bass synths, basically synth basses put together.
Yeah.
And arranged in a
Which
certain
track
way.
do you think people like, you know?
The most.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a few. I think Brown Eyes was a big one for us. Came out on Knee Deep in Sound.
And what inspired that?
Well, I was hungover, shock, and I sat down and I was just listening to depressive music, and then the sample came on YouTube. I was in a depressed mood. And then Shirley Brown's Sleep with One Eye Open came on, and I was like, oh, I could do something with this. Sped it up to 126, which was the track. Put it in the track, and then the rest is history. That track came about in about 45 minutes. Sent it to all my mates. Riaz hated it, absolutely hated it, and then he was like, when it came out, he was like, yeah, it's actually right. Our agent Danny loved it, but he wasn't our agent at the time. And then he kept messaging me like, we sat on it for about 6 months, didn't finish it. I say 45 minutes, but like the fundamentals 45 minutes. Sat on it. And then 6 months later, I came back to it, finished it. Was gonna put it out as a free download, and then Hot Since was like, "Oh, I've got a good story about this actually." It's actually a bad story. So Hot Since was like, "Yeah, we'll sign this to Knee Deep." We were absolutely gassed because it was our first Knee Deep signing. He then goes and plays back to back with Jamie Jones. Jamie Jones says to him during a back-to-back, oh, send me this track. So Jamie asked for it, and then Jamie was bashing it. So we think it could have got signed to Hot Creations.
Well, we know he would have signed it.
Yeah, he would have signed it because he was absolutely rinsing it the whole year. So, I mean, you can't look and go like, oh, we could have signed to Hot Creations, stuff like that, because Knee Deep and having a relationship with Hot Since 82 has been absolutely incredible for us. So, I mean, we'd love to get on Hot Creations one day.
But it's just, will that moment ever happen?
Yeah.
Everyone's sort of,
because we're not
has that in the
we're not
corner.
we're not massively Hot Creation sound. That's the thing. And
Well, it
it's that one-
changes every year. It's changing.
It does.
Yeah,
it does.
it does.
I mean,
He's definitely changing what he releases at the moment. That's for sure.
Yeah, I started a remix last night, which sounds kind of Hot Creations like Hot Creations ish. So maybe I'll take out the remix stems and then just use it for that. 131, which is a bit different to us. We're usually like 126 to 128. Yeah, our BPM. I feel like music now is actually getting faster,
man.
Way faster.
Yeah.
I remember back in the day, like music
124.
on 124, 123 groovers.
Ben Grinnell.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
1, 2, 3.
I actually start sometimes the track. I start at 123 or 122. Build the groove, because when you're building a slower groove, you add more elements in.
Yeah.
You undercompensate if the track is faster. So if you're starting a groove at 130, because it's fast, you're going to assume that it's good because it's faster. That's how I look at it anyway.
So that's a technique that you're doing.
Yeah, so just start at 122, add loads of elements, and then when it's sounding a bit faster, bump it up to 128, and you won't even need to go to 130 because it won't be as fast. Well, it'll be as fast, but like 130 just sounds really fast. Do you know what I mean?
Another thing with that is if you add your clap or snare in last, you also naturally fill out the groove more because it's missing that kind of middle frequency. So you'll fill that with other perks and other elements. Then you slap that in at the end and you get a fuller groove.
you do that at the end.
Yeah, you can do that. There's obviously times we don't, but that is a technique you
These
can
are
do.
proper tips, guys.
Yeah, we're giving away the keys.
We're gonna have to go in percussion.
Yeah.
How do you guys approach that? Because it's
He's a
well
wizard
known
of it.
that it's
So
one of your signature.
yeah, I used to play drums when I was younger.
Okay, that really helps.
So yeah, that kind of helped
Do
me.
you
with,
think people should be put off with not having like that type of background?
No, like it's never too late to start. I do piano lessons now.
Yeah, because it's kind of classic. If you're like, if someone hears that, they're like, oh yeah, well he's done drums, so that makes sense then. So I could never make things like that.
Well, that's the thing. Like
true.
writing melodies, we can't write the best melodies. Like we use generators, but I've started piano lessons. I do piano lessons every Thursday. I'm playing in a concert in June. I started
Are we there?
Man of
Number
many
one fan.
talents.
Yeah, no. This is a sobriety journey. I was like, I need to do something. Like, I've got more time on my hands. Let's just do something.
Wait, on your own, like?
Yeah, on my own. So
Yeah, but is it not like in like a band or something?
no, so basically, I went to this piano teacher. And my first lesson.
You must be pretty good then.
No, she was just listen to it. So she was like, "You've picked this up pretty fast," and I was like, "Thank you, thank you." So then she was like, "Do you want to play in this concert in June with me? Like, I do like these recitals for all of my students. The families come, like friends, stuff like that." And I was like, "Why not? You got one life, live it." Do you know what I mean? So I was like, "Yep, doing it." So it's on June the 14th. If anyone wants to come. But yeah, that's the thing. Like, if anyone's saying like, oh, he played drums when he was younger, his percussion's obviously going to be better. You can pick up a drum kit and you can do it. Like, you can learn stuff on YouTube nowadays. Like, you never know if you have a talent until you actually explore it, really. Do you know what I mean? Like, drums helped a lot with percussion, like knowing where the snares go, like learning, like, you know, where to put different hits and stuff like that. Call and response as well is a massive
that keeps
thing.
coming up, especially in percussion.
Call and response is a massive thing. And having a good ear for percussion in terms of in key is really helpful, because
I've heard this.
Yes,
the
because
other secret.
that's a thing. That's a thing. Is like, if there's toms out of key, it's going to really ruin the groove. That's what I find anyway. I'll be put off from a track if there's percussion in out of key, but I've never learned musical theory or know that. It kind of just came with me when I started music, but I might have been from the drums background. I played a bit of guitar when I was. I played a bit of guitar when I was younger as well, but that didn't really go anywhere. It was more drums. But yeah, percussion. We just put loops down, program different. Chop
stuff out.
We never really use one shots. We're just like, it's all loops.
Yeah, but you chop. Yeah, it's kind of like a one shot because you chop the element out of a loop.
And it's resampling different sounds from loops. So say you've got a nice tom in a drum loop or something like that, you take it out, EQ it out, take out the highs, get just the mid range, and then you might resample that in the track, have 4 hits. So like on a drop, do you know what I mean? Just to kind of create more of a groove and stuff like that, and to keep people's interested, because that's the thing, keeping the listener interested is really hard nowadays because there's so many people making music. Like, the competition is huge. Like, I know a lot of people. There's this guy David Lowe, he's making some absolutely
he's
incredible tunes
really
at the moment.
tracks.
Incredible tunes. Really close mates with David, and like, he's busting his ass in the studio, so he's someone to look out for 100%. Like, I've got full faith that he's gonna go big. Got some great tunes. He sent me a tune today. Actually, he sampled Flight FM synth in his new track.
Okay.
So it's sick. Like, I was listening in the car on the way out, I was like, this is bad boy. So yeah, just keep if you want to play an instrument, go for drums. But
I didn't do anything.
I wouldn't suggest it. Like, you don't need to, but I think with piano, that is a good skill to have, and I always wanted to do it, but now I've actually got the time, and I thought, into sobriety, let's do something that I've never done before.
Focus your mind on
100%. And I have such a passion for music, so I just thought, 2024, just learn it, and then 2025 we'll be making better music, better melodies and stuff like that. So yeah,
because that was something we had no clue of, musical theory, anything like that really. So you'd kind of use a lot of stuff from samples that you could find, because we couldn't make the stuff, and that's why you kind of went into kind of the piano to kind of learn that kind of aspect of things. But yeah, it's all about getting that little bit better every day, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, what would be your advice to, younger up and coming DJ?
I would say, bit bad to say, but copy an artist at first, copy their sound, and then tailor off into your own sound. get a lesson with someone, be unique after,
who you like
be unique after, because you can go with the trends. Like there's been trends of minimal, people, tech house artists will then make a minimal. We always stuck with the tech house. Like I have full faith that it will always come back around in life. So I would say be unique, be creative. Creativity is number one. Like look at good sampling. Sampling's big nowadays. Like, a lot of people sample, and I feel like when you're first getting into music, you don't know a lot about sampling. Like we only started sampling like.
Can you just break that down just for people to really understand what you mean by that?
So say you've got an old school record, taking like
Elements.
an element out of there. You've got AI nowadays, which is mental. You can take out guitars, you can take out strings, you can take out vocals. So finding unique tracks on YouTube that has like 200 views, which is really creative. No one knows it. It's stuff that like Jamie picks up really. Do you know what I mean? He loves that kind of stuff, like the old Motown kind of sound. That's why he loved Brown Eyes, because it was Motown. And he loved Iglesias' Agony track, which was Motown as well. So kind of like finding an old school track, looking at the elements, putting it through AI maybe, or just sampling some bits of the track is something that we never knew.
You got to be creative with it,
yeah,
haven't you?
Maybe like running it through like a tremolator, tantra or something like that, just to make it a little bit different. And then just it's something that we never knew at the start, because we used to just make pure like beats, no sampling.
From kind of sample pack.
Yeah, just like
100%.
Kind of getting it
vanilla, like,
and after
100%.
like releasing like 15 tracks, doing all that, like you kind of not run out of ideas, but kind of sampling gives you kind of another angle of creativity.
That's it.
So there's millions,
thousands of
millions
tracks to sample.
tracks.
Yeah.
I mean, there's even a site called Sample Roulette. I think it's Sample Roulette. I don't quote me on that.
I know the one. Yeah, I know.
So you click
refresh.
refresh, and then
stumble upon.
Exactly, and it's great content. Like I even went to the DJ Awards the other night, and there's a woman who works at Fabric called Judy. She's a legend of the game. She was doing a speech. I got my voice memos out, recorded it, so I'm going to sample her. So doing stuff like that.
Yeah, found sound, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
There's a lot of background noise though.
Back in like dubstep days, it was well known that people were going into they're these Cryptic Minds. You remember them?
Yeah.
They had like the best snares.
Yeah.
They went and sampled like them hitting pieces of wood together in the forest to get their layer snares.
Well, Burial sampled bullets hitting the ground in a video game for his snares. Really? Which is mental.
Okay.
I can't remember what the video game was. I watched this whole documentary. But yeah, he used to sample like the strings of like opening sequences in video games, like the bullets. He sampled Ray J, and you wouldn't even believe that it was Ray J. Pitching it down like 7 semitones and stuff like that. It's just, there's a world, you can make music from literally anything. Like
even just recording like the city or like where you're at for ambience.
That's it. Yeah. Or like a
atmosphere,
or go into a rave and recording crowd noise, or like a concert and crowd noise, having that towards the build up, like stuff like that is just. And then if you do a breakdown of it, because going back to the social media stuff nowadays, people love that, man. Like I'm gonna do a TikTok on the voice memo thing, I think.
You should actually. That's quite powerful.
Yeah, 100%. And she's a legend of the game as well, Judy. She works at Fabric. But yeah, just being creative, 100% is number one, I think. And then kind of developing your own sound as well. Because that's a huge thing, is that if you're listening to music and you can go, oh, that's them, then that's when you know you're doing something like unique. Do you know what I mean? Like people will go, oh, that's an RSquared track. I remember being at raves with my mate Justin, and he'd be like, this is one of yours coming in. I was like, yeah.
Sometimes people pick, Justin would say that, and he'd pick it out before I even heard it. Because he was more familiar with kind of what we were using, if that makes sense, and what I realised, if that makes sense.
100%.
So he was like, yeah, that's your track. I was like, what? And then 10 seconds later, I heard it. Do you know what I mean?
Cool. Yeah, people can be.
So, and then that's where I realised, well, we must have quite a distinctive sound for.
I think you do.
For him to notice that.
Yeah.
When it was only just coming in.
Yeah.
100%. But as I say, it's hard nowadays because I feel like everyone's covered every basis, but someone can go out there and do something fresh. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone's I mean, you could sample like I don't know what you could sample off the top of my head, but like doing something completely different is great if you nail it.
A friend of mine, Nate Chapman, he
Oh, I know Nate.
yeah,
I was going to sign one of his tracks to Techbox.
really cool tracks. Like
Oh mate, one of his
fantastic.
tracks
Yeah.
was wicked.
Proper rollers, man.
Yeah, sick.
But he uses Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
Of like amateur content, like
Yeah.
people singing, stuff like that. I know it's a bit of a secret.
Does he?
He actually said it in the podcast I did with him.
Yeah,
He
because
uses Instagram Reels to like find singers singing,
that's sick.
get vocals from that.
Because I'm pretty sure I can't remember the name of the artist, but someone else used to go on covers of songs on YouTube and sample the covers. So like there could be like a random, I don't know, someone like a guy singing a Shakira song or something. I don't know why I said Shakira, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
then from the clear,
because then it's different. Yeah,
a bit more like
100%.
Sometimes a male person singing might actually work better. Do you know what I mean? Than the original female version would have sounded. But yeah, it's
100%.
definitely all about being creative.
100%, man.
okay.
And it's when it's got that element, and you're like, oh, I've heard that before, and it makes it kind of recognisable. But it's better when they kind of know, but they don't know where it's from at the same time. If that makes
The
sense.
nostalgia, but
Yeah, they have that nostalgic element, but they don't know why, and they can't. They're trying to remember where it's from. That's what I think sometimes makes a track really good.
Yeah, I think the tracks that like endure and do the best over a particular season usually have that.
Yeah, they've got that emotional, nostalgic kind of element.
That's it.
If there's a sample in there,
It's a lot
That's it,
easier.
that's it.
It's a lot harder to make than just say it.
No,
right?
no.
That element,
Get me back to the
the
studio.
connecting with the audience.
Yeah, I think Goosey had it with his track that's coming out.
Which one? The Professional Widow one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a wicked
Like, that's
track.
got that, like,
He's a boy,
nostalgia
man. He's a
element
boy,
to
man.
it,
100%, 100%. He's making some. I didn't mention him earlier, but speak to Harry quite a lot. He's absolutely incredible producer, man. Like he sends me some beats. I think we're gonna do a collab, so it'll be interesting to see.
That'd be good.
Interesting to see what will come out of it because he's got that kind of deep housey sound, and I'm obsessed with deep house. I used to love deep house, so. Yeah, we're looking forward to getting to the studio of Harry, man. It's gonna be sick.
What advice would you give to yourselves if you were starting again?
Go sober.
From day one.
Yeah, from day one, go
And
sober.
instead of DJing for instead of DJing for 3 years before you start making music, start it at the same time. If you started DJing, start making music and start learning the process, because the first couple of years are a hard slog to try and pick it all up. But yeah, the quicker you get in the studio and start learning, the better, really.
100%.
A lot of people
100%.
do put it off. They start finding their love for DJing, and then they end up.
I feel like more people nowadays are starting to produce more now, though.
Yeah.
100%. Like,
So much good content to learn now.
yeah, I would say to myself is don't be so hard on yourself, man. Like stick with the process. Like obviously we did stick with it, but like just don't be so hard on yourself, because there's so many days where I'm like negged out because I'm not doing enough, but it's like it's a process.
Or
And
it's not everything's going our way, or someone's rejected a track for a label. We've had a hell of a lot of setbacks, but you've just got to keep on going, and be consistent. Release as soon as you start releasing your first tracks, see if you can get tracks out kind of monthly, consistently.
That's
once
it, yeah,
every 2 months
100%.
at least.
that was a big thing for us, is like continuing the releases, like, and like building our own label, Artworks, to just self-release as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you know, it's quite hard to have a release on another record label every month because of
That's it.
schedules and everything.
Yeah.
What's your perspective on?
I think we did 2 years. 2 years releasing every month.
We used to fit it in pretty well, didn't we? But now we have slowed down where we gig more.
Yeah.
And it's not as vital. But yeah, at the start, I would say definitely see when you're not DJing and out as much at the weekend, see if you can get a track out every month.
100%, 100%. Yeah. And
Tommy and Kesh, who are doing really well. I remember speaking to him in Ibiza, and he said at the start he was sometimes releasing twice a month and stuff like that. And they eventually blew up. So yeah.
They were Nozzo.
Yeah.
That's a great label.
yeah, we got a release for them in March, 2-track EP. Haven't released. Oh no, we did a remix for them years ago, didn't we?
Yeah. Back in the day when they first.
Yeah,
started
love
the
Tommy
label.
and Kesh, man. They're sick guys.
Yeah, great sounds.
Sick guys, man. I love a
What do
party.
you think about this sort of trend of people selling direct on Bandcamp? That seems to be picking up more and more now.
I mean, we've never done it ourselves, but I mean, if it's a way to get music out and like probably to make more money, to be honest, do you know what I mean, than what you get from a record label. Because
we've always thought the exposure's
yeah,
more worth it than the money, than the instant.
but
money.
it's coming round to it. If that a track can do so well for you, like look at Vito's track, Swang, that he put on Bandcamp, like that absolutely blew up, and it doesn't matter about the label because it had the recognition from Marco, different big DJs, and everyone was playing it. So really, if the track's got the exposure already, you don't actually need to sign to. Well, it's great to sign to a massive label, like, and you get the. I like to say, like, I love to have the badges. Do you know what I mean? Like something you can work for. Do you know what I mean? Like there was labels on my tick list that I always wanted to sign to, like Knee Deep, Revival, Mindshake, stuff like that. But no, like if the track has exposure, I think it's a great way to get music out, man. Especially Bandcamp, it's a great platform. We were going to release one track on it, but we never.
No,
got
we
to it,
just
did we?
went round the path of releasing it through like official channels. So it was on Spotify and went on Beatport and stuff like that. But yeah, I guess you can also do it Bandcamp way. But it's just the way we've never ended up doing it in the end. But yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
So what's coming up next year?
We're quite close. We're speaking to Nicole Mudaber at the the
Yeah,
good contact with her. So
got an EP signed.
We signed
No
a couple of EPs.
You can
in
talk
the
about
mood.
it now.
Yeah, in the mood.
Well, we signed the contract for one. We haven't signed the contract for the other one.
Yeah,
In the mood, I love that.
Yeah, mad. It's crazy because
That's
obviously
the
the
thing.
label is kind of techno. Do you know what I mean? So it's a good look and like.
And they're not remotely techno tracks. Either.
No.
They're our sound,
Cool.
but kind of the
Yeah.
darker end of the spectrum. And that's what we like when we end up keeping to our sound, but that label kind of changes their sound to cater for us for that release.
That's really cool.
Cool, isn't it?
And we've
Yeah,
done that a few
100%.
times, haven't we? And we do get kind of enjoyment and satisfaction out of that.
Yeah, and we've got Deep Effect in Jan, Nozo March. We're going to do a few on our own labels.
Yeah, Feb in the mood. But then, so 3 months in advance, and then we're just making tracks and sending them out.
Yeah, exactly.
The
3 months
process,
3 months in advance is enough.
And then got January, obviously, I was talking to you about
You're going to Australia, yeah?
playing in Oz.
You both going together?
No,
it's just me.
just him for the moment. Just because it does make more sense, kind of because the flights and he'll see your family.
Yeah, I
and
can see my
that.
family out there.
Um,
And then we're trying to really get our US visa to get into America more.
Yeah, that is the next market for this music.
Yeah, 100%.
There's a
100%.
seeing
big
it more and
audience.
more.
Bro, there's like it's incredible out there.
Once like the general sort of mass of Americans start listening to it all, because right now it's still like super niche.
That's it.
But
No, and I
once it
feel
goes,
like
like, the
it's
crowd's
gonna
not-
go. It's gonna go off as
You've got,
well.
like John Summit and West End, people kind of leading it, but it's,
Exactly.
it's sort of different. There's
100%.
It's not like
they're
the
getting
UK.
they're
Yeah,
getting more
100%.
underground. When we went over there just to scout out how it was, how the market was out over there, and it's kind of like the UK, but maybe 5 years behind at the moment.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's right.
And they're kind of getting a bit more knowledgeable about the underground scene, but they're still more kind of John Summit at the moment. But it's definitely getting a lot bigger there, and obviously the country is massive. So there's a massive
massive.
market.
Crowds get big.
Yeah, and it's a massive market over there.
And there's some amazing American producers.
Oh,
Stuff.
They're getting
Great.
a lot better, aren't they? They're coming
I've got
through
a
lot
few:
more.
Gio Luca, Brandon Terzo, just off the top of my head. Yeah, they're all sick guys, man. We had Gio and Casey Zaney release a track on our label Techbox, which was fantastic. So yeah, they're all killing it, man. They're all so nice as well.
Yeah.
They're all so
I'm
nice.
going
Yeah.
out there in
Are you?
March, yeah.
Where you? Oh, Miami Music Week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll see you
and then
there.
I'm going to a retreat in California, which should be good.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'll see you at Miami Music Week. Gonna go out there. Are you gonna come?
Maybe.
It's quite good. It is a bit of a mashup, I thought.
What do you mean?
Like it's just a bit of a pie.
Oh,
Like,
right.
It's not like ADE.
No.
No.
There's no actual like.
Oh, there's no meetings
different
now.
stuff
No.
going on.
I mean, we had one meeting at AD, and then the rest of the time I was mash up. So
Yeah.
That was your last mashup, and then you
Yeah.
called it a day after.
yeah,
that.
called it a day after that. So I'll be sober as hell in Miami.
Busy year then.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. I'm excited. I'm excited for 2025. I'm excited with where we're going, and yeah, it's gonna be good.
Got to have another consistent year, and hopefully it will be even better than the year before, because
100%.
you'll be sober and you just get a lot more done. You're a lot more productive at the end of the day.
That's it. 100%.
Are you doing that as well? Or you got your own like version of it?
I'm not sober because I can manage it.
So you're good, yeah.
I can have a few beers and then go.
He's not an addict, basically.
Yeah, but I feel like there's some people that still aren't addicts that will still abuse it, but they don't class themselves as an addict. But I can still have, a few drinks and then be like, oh, yeah, I'm fed up now, kind of thing. And I'll still, sometimes I'm even in the studio the next day.
Yeah, you're weird.
So yeah, I'm just I'm one of those people that just get on with it. Just get on with it. Like, even if I feel bad, just get on with it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, guys.
Cool.
Well, it's been amazing chatting.
Yeah, it's been wicked, mate.
Yeah.
I've loved it. Loved every second.
You've got all your brain cells to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well done again for that. That's
Thank you so much, mate.
And,
yeah, we'll do another one next year, and we'll see how many days I'm in.
Yeah. 1,000 day celebration.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
No, it's a few years.
Yeah, we're going to be doing some more stuff around sobriety for DJs next year. More support.
Cool.
Create some more resources.
Yeah, so I was actually thinking, like,
just some.
I might post
where to
my.
go.
So obviously at CA you get your chips and stuff like that, and I saw obviously Seb Zito's going through sobriety at the moment, and he posted his 30-day chip. So I messaged him, and then we've been chatting, and it's just great to see, man. So like, more people need to be talking about stuff like this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's not. It's kind of like put under the carpet. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one really talks about it at all.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of information out there. I listen to quite a few podcasts, like Addicted to Recovery, Class A People, good podcast to listen to if you're wanting to get into recovery. And yeah, like I said, if anyone's listening to this and wants to get some advice or struggling, I can even go to a meeting with you, like if you're near, stuff like that. So yeah.
Travel to Manchester.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that one.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming on.
Wicked, man.
Thanks
Thank
for
you
having
very
us.
much.
Enjoyed
Thank
it.
you very much.
It was worth the travel from Portsmouth.
Yeah. Nice one.
Yeah, good luck on your drive.
Cheers.